Tonight, we know the governor's proposals for how to spend your tax dollars.
Unlike last year, the budget is not filled with massive cuts. Instead, there are some spending increases. Spending on K-12 schools would go up 1%. Colleges would get a 3% boost. Cash for Michigan State Police would jump 16%, and revenue sharing would increase 2%. But some cities could see a jump of up to 9% if they meet a list of goals.
One of the big stories to come out of this year's budget is all about your kids, the education they're getting, and how much money is spent in the process. Despite the 1% funding increase, the plan is drawing some criticism from West Michigan school leaders. 24-Hour News 8's Leon Hendricks is live in Grand Rapids with this part of the story. Leon?
Brian, good evening. A lot of the money going to schools like this is part of K-12 education, but some school leaders say they don't really see it as an increase at all. And some critics criticize the fact that a lot of the money will be tied to performance benchmarks.
How many are here?
It's not unusual that education is a part of the budget that draws a lot of attention and a lot of criticism. What is unusual, at least so it seems as of late, is that the conversation is not about how much to cut. It's about how to divvy up a surplus. In the governor's proposal, starting this fiscal year, $12.5 million will be added to early education, and next year, $115 million will have their way as well. But many of the governor's increases have strings attached to schools demonstrating what he calls best practices, including online learning, advanced placement, and dual enrollment offerings, as well as academic achievement and growth.
Just using incentives is one thing, and certainly something we're going to look at, but there are also those long-term systemic issues within the funding formula itself that are not apparently addressed with what the governor's proposed.
Others say the money isn't really extra at all.
It's not like it's an increase, and I guess it's all in how you spin it, and so forth, and how politicians want to spin it. But the number is, we're still below funding levels that we were at 4 years ago.
Even if districts qualified for every single dollar, it wouldn't quite replace what's falling off the books already. So it's not so much an increase as it is not as big a cut as we had anticipated for the year.
Make sure we have good results.
Live on 24-Hour News 8 at 6, the governor addressed the critics as Democrats like State Representative Kate Segal took aim at the plan. Quote, "It is our responsibility to properly educate all of our children," Segal said, not just the governor's chosen few.
The big difference, I would say, from prior years is its focus on student growth, where we're giving incentives to show good results and to recognize that, because too much of our system is about spending money and not enough on making sure the kids get a great education.
There are also increases planned for the public colleges and community colleges and public universities. But again, those increases tied to school performance. Reporting live in Grand Rapids tonight, Leon Hendricks, 24-Hour News 8.